What up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Mutant XPerience podcast. With me on this episode has been a long time coming, and really glad and happy to finally have True Karate, aka Grimlock, aka Cameron. I like to refer to him as the Oracle of Third. Like, I don't know if anyone has told you that,
Word.
Cameron. You ever watched The Matrix?
Yeah, I definitely know about
Yeah,
Oracle.
I always, I always, I always refer to you as the Oracle. Like, but yeah,
Appreciate
we
it.
got BloodUrien on the Mutant XPerience podcast with us, and so like we were saying, Cam, finally, really grateful that we were able to, first of all, make it this far. I mean,
I know,
you and I
right?
are some uh old geezers here,
Yeah, we
so
still around, man. We still around. We dinosaurs in the game, man.
so wanted to throw that out there and kind of say how grateful I am that we're both here. Have the opportunity to talk about this game that we've been playing for over 20 years. I know that.
I can't put it down, man. I can't stay away from it too long, man. I try to put Third Strike down, man.
uh,
Don't like nope.
and I'm glad that we're finally doing this now because 2024 Cam is the 25th anniversary
Oh,
of Third
word.
Strike. Yeah, and
Damn,
so
years. What the fuck?
I know it's nuts, right?
So wait, this shit came out in '99. Damn, I was
uh,
19. I was 19 in '99.
but we're gonna get to all that later on.
Okay.
For those of you who may not be familiar with Cameron, we're gonna kind of get through all of that stuff because, like we were saying, Cam been in the game quite a while.
Yeah.
You were in this long before. Like, I actually wanted to kind of start out with this question. A
Okay.
lot of people are pretty familiar with the term fighting game community, FGC. But
Yeah.
like, and I don't quite. I think it was an actual term by the time I became familiar with Street Fighter tournaments. I don't want to. I don't want. I'm not for certain. You
Yeah.
know, like I think when I first started going to family in 2003, it was like, oh yeah, Street Fighter tournaments. But I wasn't quite sure whether the term I knew the term FGC yet. But like, where did that come from? Because like you were like I said, you were in the game probably before that word even existed. So
I
like,
started,
you
yeah,
know, what are
definitely.
your
I
earliest
didn't start
memories of
really
that word?
I didn't start seeing FGC till like SRK days. It popped up in there a couple years, like somewhere in the SRK days. Because at first it was this shit called what was that shit called? Uh oh man, that's so old school. I can't remember, but
I think what you might be talking about is IRC.
yeah,
Yeah.
IRC chat.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
never got
yeah.
into IRC chat. See,
Dude,
that's
I
how
used
I
to go
know.
to the
That's how I
college,
know.
bro, and get
Yeah.
on that shit, bro, just so I could talk to fools from Cali and like New York and shit.
That's how I know you were more old school than I am. Because I never got into that
RC
IRC. I
chat,
mean,
that's what it was. I would have never remembered that. That's what it was, bro. Fuck. Yep. And then like, so when SRK came out, I was on that like crack. I didn't have no internet or nothing. I used to just go over to homie's house and they'd get mad at me because I'd be on Sharuka.com fucking all night. You gonna play or you gonna be on there? Like, because I was just I was really big on like playing different competition, you know, other because I got burned out on my crew. You know, you play we met up every Friday at the Family Fun Center at our arcade, and during the week we're always at each other's house. Somebody's at somebody's house playing, so it's like all we play is each other. So I was really big on like trying to like just on some Kobe Bryant shit. Like you know how they say he was just like a nuisance, like always trying to like get information from legends and shit. That's what I was. That's how I was. I was always trying to seek down like Pyro Lee and Geo. So they would be on our IRC and Cole and Valle and shit like that. So I would be trying to get on there and talk to them dudes and let them know how good we are. I was really like seeking validation a lot back then.
So before we get into too deep into all the FGC, where did you grow up?
Omaha, Nebraska, and the hood, I guess. Like we didn't live in like uh, a boot like a high end part of town or nothing like that. But my mom was on fucking public assistance and shit, so we had a house. We wasn't in no projects or nothing. Well, at first I stayed in a certain not too far away from here, but when I was like 6, we moved to where I'm at now, and it's just like a blood gang infested neighborhood. So that was always the territory. So it's like whether you were part of that shit or not, it was always going on around you. So like a lot of my friends, grade school friends, by the time we got like 14, 15, they were being in gangs. They was joining gangs. I didn't really at first, but they were always my friends. So it was like I was always around them. So eventually I kind of got in that shit. I would say, and our neighborhood store, right? It's like a little corner store. It's still there to this day, 99-cent store. That's where the fighting game shit really started for me. Was in that corner store, 99-cent store on 42nd and Redmond. Like literally like 6 minutes away from my house. But like they always had like the owner of the store, BJ, shout out to BJ. He always had like just dope arcade games in there. It'd be beat 'em ups like Crime Stoppers, Altered Beast, B-Rap Boys. He had Time Killers. He had Street Fighter 2 for a little while, but I played that first in the Godfathers, like on a random, and I remember I seeing the Hadouken for the first time, and I heard it, like the sound of it, the Hadouken, like, and
That was
that,
pretty good.
hey man, I play that shit so much. And then like the Shoryuken, like the deep voice of them,
Yeah.
I wish they would like incorporate that, bring that back some kind of way. But like that shit, I don't know, it hit different for me, bro. Like you can't get you can't get that experience of the first time you experience something again, other than that first time. But like that shit sucked me in, bro. When I saw and heard Hadouken and Shoryuken and the Tatsu for the first time when I heard those moves, I knew that's what I was gonna do. And then I remember I went to our arcade that we had for the first time, and I was like 11 or 12, and I played Street Fighter 2, and I didn't know any moves. I just knew buttons with Chun Li. I just knew all her buttons. And some guy, I swear to God, this dude grabbed me with every fucking grab Zangief had. Like, you know how Street Fighter 2 Zangief had a different grab for different buttons? He had like a DDT for the medium punch. He had the fucking suplex for the fierce punch. You push offensive, what was it? Offensive crouch and fierce. He'll squeeze your face and shit. You push roundhouse and forward, he'll like knee you and shit. And
Mhm.
from that day on, I was like, I'm gonna be the shit at this game. Like nobody's ever gonna do that shit to me again. I never saw that guy again, but that started the quest. That started the journey. You know what I'm saying? That one ass whooping. I was at like 12 years old. I wasn't having that shit. But anyway, back to the 99-cent store. They would have Street Fighter 2. They never got hyper fighting, but they got a Champions Edition,
Mhm.
and then there was some couple guys showed me how to like throw fireballs and shit. I couldn't do it really though, like consistently. But then they were trying to show me how to 2-in-1, like fierce into Hadouken, because they were doing that shit. But like I couldn't do that yet, but I could at least throw fireballs. So I thought I was just gonna be unstoppable because I could throw fireballs, but that wasn't the case. Um, so anyway, that corner store ended up getting like King of Fighters 94 when I was like 14 or 15. And I got really good at that. I love that game. Then they got 95. They got KOF 95. And that was even better because they had team edit. They let you like make your own team instead of like playing the team they want you to, that you have to use. So like that got me really good at like execution. like super jumping, because it had super jumps in it, like third strike and second impact, back in 1995. You know what I'm saying? Like that game was way ahead of its time, actually. But that got me really good at like, because I could beat the game with a quarter eventually. And I remember like game members used to come in there, because all the game members used to come in there and like play and shit. Some of them actually could do some stuff. But like I was like the whiz kid. I could beat everybody with all kinds of characters, and I could beat the game on a quarter. I remember some Crips and some Bloods was in the store and they was about to fight, and they saw me using the last boss, right? Nobody knew he was playable. I had just got the code. So I had the code for Rugal. I put it in and was playing with him. And it made them niggas stop quarreling and arguing. They was like, hey, he had the last boss. And then they stopped arguing and was watching, right? Then they was like, wait a minute, nah, this ain't his board. This ain't the last boss board. Like he got him. You got the last boss, dude? I was like, yeah. And them fools stopped arguing and shit, bro, and start watching me play the game, bro. I'll never forget that. I was like 15. But I learned how to play on stick, I would say, in that store. Because I was a pad player, but I learned how to play on stick in that store. And I met some of my crew in that store. Because one day I got to the store, right? And the credits were going up on King of Fighters 94. And I was like, who the fuck beat this? Because I'm the only person I know that could beat the game. And I couldn't beat it all the time. I would kind of get lucky and beat it. And I had just missed Daytrick and Butch. I just missed them. They were just getting in their car when I got there. So I didn't know that they were the ones that played it. Because they was some straight thug ass street dudes. They don't look like the type that you know what I mean, like play video games like that. So I asked BJ, the guy that owns it, I said, who was on this game? He was like, some black dudes. They just left. You just missed them. So I'm like, damn, that had to be them dudes that just left. So I would say like maybe a year later, I saw them again at the Family Fun Center at the arcade, because my dad used to take me there. And I saw them again playing like Alpha 2 or something in like 96. So it was a little time afterwards. And I'm like, yo, were y'all in the 99-cent store playing King of Fighters? And they're like, hell yeah, hell yeah. We hunt that game down. Like they used to just like ride around looking for like, games they want to play. Because they wasn't from my part of town. They lived in a Crip neighborhood. I thought they were Crips, but they wasn't. They wasn't. They were neutral. They just lived in the Crip neighborhood, so they wore blue. And that's kind of how it is when you live in a gang member neighborhood. You kind of wear the colors just to just blend in. So I get that. But yeah, so when I hooked up with them, I kind of start hanging out with them more and more, going to their house and shit. And these motherfuckers had everything, bro. They had a Neo Geo with the cartridges back in the day. I was like, what the fuck? And they had a Panasonic 3DO with Super Turbo on it. And Dietrich wouldn't let nobody play that. He would tease you. He'd be like, hey, Cameron, come here. Check this out. I go in the room, right? And it's fucking Ryu, on the intro, throwing the fireball at the screen and shit, showing Akuma and
Yeah.
Cammy. Like, you got this is. And then he's like, all right, get out of here. And he pushed me out of his room and closed the door. So, funny story. I don't know if I should go there. There's a shout out to Dana Majewski. He was like this white dude. He used to let me borrow all kind of Nintendo games.
Okay.
Back in like grade school. And he had the whole book, everything perfect condition. I would always give it back perfect condition. If I give it back, he lets me borrow something else. So, because my mom didn't have the money for fucking brand new Nintendo games. They were like 65 a pop, 70 a pop. So I would get my games through this guy, right? So this lasted all the way up until we were like in the 8th grade when Super Street Fighter 2 comes out for Super Nintendo. I'm such a scumbag, bro. That motherfucker had Super Street Fighter 2. And at this time, I'm crazy about Street Fighter. Like, so I asked him, can I borrow it as usual? Bro, I knew once it was in my locker, he wasn't going to get it back. So, so I had to make up a lie why he wasn't going to get it back. So I put my coat in my fucking gym locker. And I just told him somebody stole my coat, because I did have a dope ass Chicago Bulls coat, like bomber jacket, and people were stealing them back then, like Hoya, like Georgetown Raiders. People would steal that shit back in the day. They take it right up off you. So it was believable. So I told him somebody stole my coat and it was in my pocket. I feel so bad to this day. I always told myself if I ever run into Jana Majewski again, I'm gonna give him $75 for his copy of Super Street Fighter 2. Because he did not get that shit back. I'm talking about 4 years of him letting me borrow games because we went to the same like grade school from 4th to 8th. He let me borrow games from 4th to 8th, and he always got his games back until Super Street Fighter 2. You don't know who he let borrow that, bro. You let the wrong motherfucker borrow that.
That was an amazing story. Yeah,
I'm just saying, bro. Like he used to let me borrow like the EGMs. Remember those? Like the electronic
magazines.
gaming
Yeah.
monthlies. He used to let me borrow those, right? Like I had to give it back before the end of the day. So what I would do is tear out all the fighting game pages because he don't pay attention to that shit. And I would tear it like to where you don't even know it's gone. And I would staple them and make my own little book. And it was all fighting game shit like Art of Fighting 2, Dragon Ball screenshots. Cause like at the time I never seen a Dragon Ball in real life, like a game. It would just see screenshots. So I would take all that shit. He never missed it. But yeah, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. You poor in the hood, man.
So when you were growing up, most of your exposure to video games was through these
99
convenience
cent stores,
stores, these
bro.
99-cent stores.
And like I said, the Family Fun Center was like, the spot though. Like when I got around like 16, that was the spot.
Yeah, it's so
Like
weird, right? To think back on those times.
you don't realize,
Um,
a lot of people to this day don't realize how big our arcade was. We had the biggest arcade in the country. And we didn't know it until we started traveling. Everybody's arcade looked like a Chuck E. Cheese's or something. Dude, our arcade had 2 floors. Like, just ask the people that been there, bro. It's huge. It was huge. And we got everything because our owners, the owners that like the owner was an old man, but his son was like second in command or whatever, like the Saget. And his son played Street Fighter, right? And his homeboy that worked there played Street Fighter 2. So we would tell them like what to get, and they would go get it. I don't care what it was. We had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like we had 2 of them. We had like Marvel 2, CVS 1, CVS 2, Last Blade 1, Last Blade 2, Initial D, Real Bout 2. Fucking dude, we had everything, bro. They just didn't realize it until we start going to other tournaments and shit. Like when people came to our shit for Incube, they were like, "What the fuck?" We had those Atomic Waves, those Atomic Wave cabinets. We had like 3 of those. We got all the Guilty Gears except for Asuka, bro. They spoiled us, bro. We had stools and shit, stools to sit your drink on, stools to sit your nachos on, stools to sit your coat on. You know, I went to like Super Just Games in Chicago. They didn't have no stools, bro. If they had like a couple, and people were just guarding them all weekend, and that sucked because we weren't used to playing standing up. I used to think that was amazing how the New York players were really good standing up because we never played standing up. We always had stools.
Tell me a little bit more about Family Fun Center, because I know a lot of people know about Family Fun Arcade in Southern California, but
Right.
like I don't think anyone's ever really kind of done a deep dive on the Family Fun Center in Omaha, and it was in Omaha.
Yeah. My earliest memory, because it was I can't remember like how long the arcade was around. I remember I did a report on that arcade when I was in college. They told me, but I can't remember. But like it's been around since before I was like, well, it was around before I started going. I started going when I was like 11, like in like 91. So my earliest memory was my mom took me there on my birthday, like my 11th birthday, and I spent like damn near all my birthday money on Final Fight because like I was trying to beat the game, and I'm a kid. I don't know. I was pretty good, but I didn't know that like if you wiggle the joystick back and forth when you get knocked down, you get up real quick. I didn't know that as a kid. So like Andor, remember Andre, the original Hugo? He would just like if he knocks you down, he would jump on you and sit on you. And that takes like all your life. But like that's free if you don't know the quick get up to wiggle the joystick to get up. So he was, I was just losing all my money. My mom was like, wait a minute, how much money have you spent? I'm like, $30. She's like, boy, let's get the hell out of here. That was my first like memory of that arcade though. But like I was always drawn to like beat 'em ups and anything martial arts. You know, Karate Champ, like even you remember Track and Field 2 on Nintendo
Yeah.
where they had Taekwondo?
Yeah, they had Taekwondo on that. Yeah.
I would only play Taekwondo. That's how I knew I was like meant to play Street Fighter, bro. Cause like
Yeah.
I I used to draw that shit like cause I draw. And when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to college. She was in college, and she used to take me with her, and she used to give me like, you know, like a big piece of paper, and I would just fill it up with like little yin and yang looking motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no background. It's just a million yin and yang looking motherfuckers, like just doing drop kicks like Makoto's, medium kick in the air and shit. I could draw that since I was a kid. I could draw that pose since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I was always into like that kind of shit though, you know. So I think that's why I paid attention to the details so well.
Yeah, I was in the comic books. Yeah, I used to draw as a kid too.
I wasn't a
Um,
comic guy, but I was a.
uh,
You remember the cards?
yeah, the Marvel cards. You remember the
Yeah,
Marvel cards? Yeah,
I had
I
all
know.
of those. I had all
Yeah.
of those. Just give me the nitty gritty. I don't need all that story. Just give me the fucking attributes and a little bit of backstory on who this motherfucker is. But I had like the 90, all the 91s, all the 92s, all the 93s of the Marvel cards.
So you start going to Family Fun Center in '91. That
Yeah.
is around the time that Street Fighter 2 comes out, World War.
Dude, the arcade used to
Um,
be so deep, bro. God damn, they used to be so deep, bro. You couldn't even like get in line to play. I used to just watch. Back in those days, I used to just watch. But yeah, I like this is the crazy part. Like once I got like Hyper Fighting and Super Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo, I could start doing dragon punches like all the way across the screen on a you know on the bone pad, you know, that milk bone. So that's when I started like understanding the execution, and then it translated to the 99-cent store in the arcade. But I was like I said, I was really good at like patterns. Like I could exploit the computer's patterns and beat the game on a quarter and shit like that. So I thought I was really good. But when I met Daytrick and them and was playing them, they showed me I wasn't good at all. Like I didn't know how to play a human. I just knew how to fight AI. So I got better, you know, fighting people when I met those guys. I met my whole crew when I met those guys. But Daytrick and Butch were the best. It was everybody else was like under them, but they always had something to bring to the table. Like, you know what I mean? Like this guy might not be as good as them, but he gets all the Japanese import games. And he's just a cool motherfucker. Like he's got all the anime, he's got all the Dragon Ball, the homie Sal. And then the homie Maurice, he wasn't that great, but Maurice had grabbed the shit out of you. He showed me how important grab was. Uh, you know, and he could draw like amazing. Like Maurice was always amazing at drawing since I met him 25 years ago. He just kept getting better and better throughout the years. When I first met him, we were playing like I'm watching him play Real Bout and Blue Mary's on the screen, and Maurice just draws her real quick on the sketchbook in the arcade. I'm like, yo, that's Blue Mary. And he's fucking sarcastic as fuck. He's just like, congratulations. I'm like, this motherfucker. But so it's like the crew, all of us wasn't like really high level, but they just had something, you know, that made you want to be around them. They were just magnetic, you know, they personality, like we were so diverse. We had Asians in the clique, Latinos in the clique, black dudes, white dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody was all mixed up. So it was cool, man. I'm really glad I met those dudes because uh I got really good when I just started kind of homing in on Daytrick and Butch because they were like, I noticed they were the strongest players. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of my Third Strike tech came from him. I just made it better. But I had natural skills, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I was able to beat games on the quarter and shit at like 14. So it's like I obviously was naturally good. I had natural talent, but like me running into guys older than you that are more seasoned and then picking their brain, you know, that just it really helped me become a stronger player.
So you meet Butch and Daytrick. When did you start competing in tournaments? Like when did you start seeing that tournaments were a thing? Like when is your like earliest memory of an actual tournament? No matter how small or
I
big
would
or
say probably Alpha 2, like 96. I was like 16, and they were having bi-weeklies at the Family Fun Center, and they would give out prize tokens and money. So you could get tokens depending on how you win. Because like if you kill somebody with a level 1 super, you get so many tokens. If you kill somebody with a level 2, so many, and so on, level 3. And Daytrick would like exploit the fuck out of that. Like he would only kill motherfuckers with level 3 Atomic Buster with thing. So he could get like a shitload of tokens. So they stopped doing that shit. But I didn't enter back then. I was still kind of janky on stick. I would still have to look at my hands and shit back then. But Daytrick knew I had some potential though, because I was jumping in doing like roundhouse, standing jab, tiger uppercut with Saget on purpose. I want the 9 hit, and Daytrick's like, "Oh, you can do that. Like you're gonna be good, you know." But I wasn't getting in tournaments. I would just watch. I think my first tournament was Second Impact actually, and somebody told us about a tournament in Chicago. I can't remember who, but somebody told us. So we drove up there for Super Just Games, and back when it was in Northbrook, Illinois. And I was like 17. My shine is starting to get pretty strong. Everybody was kind of like, everybody noticed my shine by now in my city. So I'm starting to like take the mantle from Butch. You know, it's like the first time somebody's like kind of getting with Butch, because Butch was like the best at the time in Second Impact. Um, but what it was I can't. You know what? It was 99. It was 99 because it was the first year Third Strike came out, right? It was the first Third Strike tournament at Super Just Games, and it was the last Second Impact tournament, which I was like upset about because I was really good at Second Impact. Um, so that was the first big like out of town tournament I ever went to. I was 19, yeah, because Third Strike just came out. I'll never forget this. I lost to Jason Wilson's Elena, and I got fifth. Daytrick took third with Ken. It was Eddie Lee, it was Henry Sin first, Eddie Lee second, Daytrick Orr third. Jason Wilson took fourth with Elena. I didn't know how to fight her back then, and then I took fifth with Urien, and I only used Urien when the game started. Well, like when the game first came out, like the first 4 years, I main Urien.
so you mentioned in this tournament there was a second impact tournament
Yeah,
and a third strike tournament.
yeah.
So
Now I
were
I,
there
I I
like
really had high hopes for myself in Second Impact. I thought I should have won the whole fucking thing.
yeah.
Like I would. Eddie Lee Ibuki was scary as fuck because he was doing like a damn near infinite with her, but like everybody else was beatable, especially with Sean cheap ass, and I had the best Sean in the building. But my monkey wrench was Adam Hernandez, uh, aka Toad Style from Chicago.
Dirt Master.
Dirt Master, right. That motherfucker, me and him go back that far. He beat me in Second Impact. He took me out with Akuma, right? And I didn't know how to fight Akuma, bro, because he wasn't legal in our local tournaments. They wouldn't let us use him. And Daytrick would only pick him like when it's like 45 minutes left to close. He's like, all right, it's Goki time. And then he'll put the code in. But like, we didn't really see a lot of Akuma because of that. So like that's the only reason that motherfucker beat me, bro. Cause like I wasn't used to fighting Akuma, and I still almost killed his ass for Sean. But I felt like if I beat him, I would have won that tournament. Cause I kept beating Eddie Lee in casuals with Sean. So I would just leap attack all the time, like and grab and shit. It's like the leap attacks were super fast, and like the universal overheads, they were super fast in Second Impact.
So were people like talking about the similarities and differences, or like was there any of that, or were people just more focused on the competition?
For us, since it was our first time and first time people seeing us, it was really standoffish. Like we were loud and brazen. So a lot of people didn't like us. They didn't really want to stick around us too long. So I don't really know the minds of the other players. I didn't really mingle a lot outside of our clique at that first tournament. I didn't really talk to a lot of out of towners because we were mad deep that year. We brought players that just come to support too, and that don't really play like that. So I mean, we were all about us those days.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember too much dialogue about like the differences. I know I hated Third Strike because I just didn't like the changes, man. Like I didn't like how slow leap attack was, the universal overhead. I wasn't crazy about 2 buttons to grab. I mean, it was just stuff like Yang's chain combo, the low one they took away. I didn't like that they took the like when you get beat up, when you lose, how they had to beat them up artwork. I didn't like that they took that away. I didn't like that they made motherfuckers share stages. I was hating on Third Strike really hard, like when it first came out, like for a year. And I think Urien, the fact that he could charge his fireball and I could like charge other stuff while I'm holding the fireball down, that's what sucked me in to Third Strike. I remember that's what made me play it more because I realized because I didn't like that Urien couldn't just elbow EX headbutt, elbow EX headbutt. Like he could do that at Second Impact, but at Third Strike you can't. I didn't like that. But once I realized like he could hold that fireball down and fight around that and stuff, it started making me respect the game a little more.
So Urien was your first main, your day
Yeah,
one Third Strike main.
yeah,
And
definitely.
what super?
Aegis.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Aegis.
and so tell me a little
No
bit.
unblockables or nothing. Just
Yeah.
putting people in the corner and shit.
So tell me a little bit about how you kind of learned the game, or in those early years. Like I know you were playing with your crew, going to Family Fun Center.
By the time Second Impact was on its way out,
Huh.
I had learned every character in Second Impact. Third Strike, I I was a slow starter to it. So, like I said, it took me a year to really get into it. And then I stayed on Urien for like the first 4 years, maybe 3 years. I say he was my main for the first 5 years, but I might have dibbled and dabbed with some other people. When I think I got my hands on Cherube and the first co-op cup, I got my hands on those videos, and Japan used way more characters back then. So like that made me look at the game different when I saw that footage because they were dope with whoever was on screen. Well, it don't matter what character was on screen, they were dope with them. They made it look like anybody could win. So that's when I started changing my mindset and start fucking with other characters. And Butch was already fucking with other characters. So I was just stealing stuff from him and adding shit onto it. And then I just started learning characters in threes so I could learn it faster. And yeah, but I've always been that way though. Like if I really like a game, a fighting game, I would learn the whole cast. Like Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 3, KOF 94, 95. I knew everybody. I knew all the characters. If I play the game, I'll either play the game and play everybody, or I won't play the game at all.
Nebraska is always gonna have a place in Third Strike American history,
Ooh,
because one of the places, if not maybe the first place, to host Japanese players for a Third Strike
we were the
competition.
second. We were the second place.
Second place.
Yeah.
And so, how did that all come about? Not really sure if anyone has ever told a story or uh,
I mean, I've
provided any
heard.
details about it, but like from what you remember about,
It's people in my own city that like they heard about the story
yeah,
and they didn't know that was true.
yeah.
Like Simon's like, that's not how they came here. And I'm like, really? It's not, motherfucker?
Well, I mean, Simon. Well,
What is
well, you were there. So tell us a little bit
yeah.
about. So yeah, tell us a little bit about N cubed, and how the Japanese ended up
I'm
in Omaha, Nebraska to play Third Strike.
I'm glad you asked. Um, it was a guy that lived in Lincoln. He lived in our capital. His name's John Gosson. Shout out to John Gosson. Death by Aegis. That's what his handle was. He had a brother named Brian Gosson, and he went by Death by Rose. And he played Dudley, obviously. The other one played Urien. So they were like two brothers that got in the Third Strike that lived in Lincoln. And they would come to the arcade. They would drive an hour to Omaha on the randomly uh, and play. And they would bring their camcorder every time. And they got into the game pretty heavy. And John Gosson, the Urien player, he moved to Shizuoka, Japan for I can't remember how long, but he moved there for a couple years and he got a wife. He met a wife over there. They had a couple kids, but he moved back to the States. So anyway, while he was living there, he was around, the Japanese scene. And he would send me like direct feed from the arcade, like footage of like what they were doing, like just matches, and he would send them to me. And I mean, I swear to God, bro, I saw the oral unblockable. I feel like before anybody in the USA, unless you were like in that Pyro League clique going over there all the time, I feel like I had to be one of the first people to see that shit because this dude was doing that shit like way before Americans started doing it. Like this Japanese dude from like a random arcade in Shizuoka. You remember the player Shonen? He's a Urien player, plays the dark Urien, like the brown one.
The name does sound familiar.
He was like a Guilty
Yeah.
Gear Testament main. He was really good with Testament, but he main Urien, and he had that unblockable, right? He created this unblockable, like the elbow crush to the fierce Aegis, and then he dashes back, ducking medium kicks, and does a big knee drop, lands right behind you, and then it just elbows you for the unblockable. But he started that, and I jacked that a long time ago. It's really old school. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, that dude used to send me footage from there. So that really helped because I had like, you know, Japanese stuff that was like exclusive shit. I had a really dope Ibuki player named Hame. Um, played with Yami Shigure. But yeah, but anyway, so back to the Japan thing. We were like relaying messages back and forth on Sharukan.com and shit. And what happened was they had that USA versus Japan exhibition back in the day where like it was like Justin Wong, George Posadas, Shin Chang. They picked Mike Watson of all people. And I can't remember who their other player, Alex Valle. So they played Team Japan, the same team we played. And I think they might have had one other person that we didn't play. I can't remember, but it was pretty much the same team. But like they lost really bad. Like I can't remember the score. They only got like one win or two wins. I think Justin Wong got a win, but they only got like one or two wins. So anyway, I got on Sharuka.com and I started talking mad shit about that, right? Because I was mad that they didn't pick anybody from Nebraska or we wasn't even a candidate. And by that time, even though the game was still young, we still had kind of made a much of a I felt like we made enough impact to where we should have been a candidate at least for that team. Especially, it was just disrespectful to me to have Mike Watson on that team. I think he was the only like person I was really upset on that was on the team because I played Mike Watson before that, and he wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't ready to be playing him. But I feel like they picked him because of the name, because of his prowess in previous Street Fighters. But Third Strike's a whole different animal. It ain't got shit to do with Super Turbo. So anyway, I got on Sharukan talking bad shit, talking about I said specifically like we would have destroyed that 12. We wouldn't have let that 12 fly around like that. We would have did this, we would have did that. So Japan saw that shit, right? And they didn't like the words that I used. And they specifically put my shit in quotes like Japan considered the word destroy very disrespectful. Like they didn't like that shit. So I was like, whatever, we'll beat y'all ass. I'm talking shit. I'm young. I'm young. So they said, basically, you name a date and a place and we'll play. So I was like, bet shit. Come here, we'll whoop y'all ass. Da, 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 da. So John Gosson was like my middle guy. Like I use him. He's staying in Japan, so he could talk to them, related messages from them to me, and he relayed my messages to them. You know, so he was doing that, and he already had started the N Cube tournament like before Japan came. I think we might have had 2 N Cubes before Japan came, and we called it N Cube because it was like 3 N's. It was like Nebraska, November, and I don't remember what the other fucking N was. You know what I'm saying? It was like Nebraska, because we had it in November. Nebraska. It was, I can't remember what the other N was, but it was like 3 N's, so we called it N Cube. So that became the name of that tournament. So John Gossett actually set it up to where Japan's gonna come here and play us at an N Cube, and by that time our community was starting to get split between Guilty Gear players and Third Strike players. Like a lot of our Third Strike players started kind of branching off to play Guilty Gear because we had got that, and everybody was liking it. I hated it, but everybody was liking it. So our crew was kind of bummed out that Japan was coming here just for Third Strike, because like half of us were like really just as big on Guilty Gear, and so yeah, they came, bro. They end up coming. And since they came, it made like a lot of other American, from all over the country come, because, like you said, Japan hadn't came to too many spots to America yet, so it was a chance for American players to like see Japan in person and not have to spend all that money to go to Japan. So they came to Nebraska for that tournament. Who was there? Ricky Ortiz came. Uh, Jason Cole came. Jason Nelson came. Uh, I want to say Arturo came. Uh, okay, so once word got out Japan was coming, uh, the Cali team wanted to come. Pyro Lee's clique, like Pyro Lee, Victor Lee Vance. Shout out to Victor Lee, man. His deli was so dope. Um, who else? Frankie, the OG Frankie, the original Frankie 3S. Uh, Dinjin Ryu, he played Dinjin. Who else? Pyro Lee, I said him. I want to see. So they brought like 4 of their guys. Flash G came because Flash G was like on their team because they didn't have a 5th player. So Flash G joined them. Yeah, RP Flash, man. That's still fucking crazy, bro. Sometimes I forget. I even forget he's gone. That's just crazy. We were like super rivals, man. I always wanted to like be chummy with Flash, but Flash was just old school, bro. Like New York, you guys are Nebraska. You know what I mean? Like fuck, like we're not friends. Like, oh man, he was really solid though. But but yeah, that was the team. So they came, and then it was just like all these Midwest dudes. I think what's his name? We were just talking about him, the Denver guy. True Tech came. You remember Tasty Steve? You know Tasty Steve, right? Tasty Steve was coming. He was still living in fucking St. Louis at the time. He was coming up for a lot of our tournaments. Like we met Tasty Steve like before he got all famous. You know what I'm saying? He used to be a fan of us. Now he's all fucking famous. Nah, Tasty Steve's the homie though. Shout out to Tasty. But like yeah, you know what I mean? Just all the neighboring Midwest cities and states were there. I'm trying to think, was some Texas dudes there? I want to say some of them, not a lot of them though. They might have came for Guilty Gear, like the Texas dudes that were really into Guilty Gear. But it was just some of everybody, man. Like not all the top players came, but like it was crazy to see like Ricky Ortiz at Sal's house chilling. Like that was weird. Like Flash G and Ricky came to the homie's house afterwards. Like it was just weird. Like certain people just shouldn't be at the same place at the same time. It was like, what the fuck? Like they were like in the hood in Omaha. It was crazy. Japanese players, they actually brought two teams. They brought like a B tier team because the A tier team that came was like Eno, Izu. I look at Izu like the Bobby Fischer at Third Strike. Like, you know, Bobby Fischer had like, you know his story. He had like an undefeated run in chess, and then he just fell off. And that's kind of how Izu was. He went undefeated in SBO right after he left NQ. Like literally like not even a month after NQ, they had SBO and he won the whole thing. Undefeated. Like his teammates never even got to play. And he just kind of fizzled out after that. But yeah, but they had Eno, Izu, Mester, KSK. Shout out to KSK, the OG Alex. Um, and am I leaving out somebody? Is that five?
Was
Chiku,
Kick you.
Chiku, Mester. Yeah, Chiku was their 12, their 12 slash Necro player. Uh, he did have a dope 12 though, but he claimed he couldn't play. He said he couldn't play 12 on our sticks because our sticks were kind of stiff. We had like perfect 360s back then, so they were like really like you have to kind of have some muscle on them, and that's really different compared to a loose Sanwa or you know what I mean, the Japanese ball tops. And I remember it was like a big thing about the joysticks because Japan was like, "Are you going to have our sticks?" And I told our manager what they wanted. He didn't really know the difference between like, you know, what they really are accustomed to using. He just knew we had some ball top sticks. So he figured that's what they're talking about. Yeah, we got those. And they didn't have those. Like what he was talking about were those Simpson joysticks. You remember that Simpsons game?
Yeah.
They were ball tops. Like they look like Japanese sticks, but they're not. So he just like switched them in the third strike caps for them, and they're like, nah, man. Nah, they're like, nah, homie, this ain't gonna get it, bro. This is not what we're talking about. So
That's
once we
funny.
realized, and I remember like when my homie popped the trunk, we had we had the Sega Dreamcast Green Goblins in the trunk. You should have seen Japan's eyes when they seen those sticks. They're like, oh, they got the. We're like, oh, y'all know about these? They're like, yeah, that's what we use. But yeah, that's not what we had in the arcade. They had to use perfect 360s. So anyway, TQ said he couldn't play with 12 because it makes his joints lock up trying to fly like that. So he just used his pocket necro and he still did really well. He kicked our ass with that shit.
Yeah.
And he took second in the team in the singles tournament. So he did pretty good. So I don't know. Some people didn't give us the props. They didn't give us props because they said Japan didn't have their own shit. But shit, they looked really good to me. Shit. But that was a dope tourney, bro. Like all the Guilty Gear players we had that were hating, they weren't hating by the end of the week because Japan knew how to play that too. So both our scenes leveled up. Our Guilty Gear scene and our Third Strike scene leveled up. Getting to play Japan the whole weekend.
Any stories from that weekend that you
Look,
remember that you want to
I don't.
share that you
One thing I don't understand to this day is how Jason Wilson got control of our tournament. Like, do you remember Dream TR?
Yeah, Jason Wilson.
Yeah, he's the guy that ran Midwest Championships in Chicago. I guess Midwest Championships was dying out, so we were like trying to. Our manager was talking to Dream TR about Jason Wilson about like getting Midwest Championships in Omaha after he's seen our arcade. He wanted to throw it here, but we knew people were going to hate because it's Omaha. You know, it's not like it's not Chicago, it's not Texas, it's not New York, it's not Cali, you know. So that was a problem, like getting Midwest championships here. But anyway, that's where that talk started at that arcade. But anyway, our manager kissed his ass and let him run in cube, which I didn't understand. And I talked so much shit about Japan, about kicking their ass. He made me play Cascade the first match of the tournament. So I was like the first motherfucker in the losers bracket in the whole tournament. So it was, I wouldn't even say it was competitive. It was like a competitive round, I guess. Like I won a round in the mirror match, Alex on Alex. And but he, you know, he was just more seasoned than I was. So he beat my Urien, then he beat my Alex. So I was in the losers bracket. And then I think I lost to a Japanese chum named Kyosuke. So I just had bad luck that tournament. But dude, one thing I can remember that really sucked was we were kicking ass, right? Everybody was sandbagging at first for like the first hour in casuals. And then Frankie from Cali, me and him really clicked for some reason. And he snuck a little bit of Cali Bud on the plane. And he's like, where can I go smoke this at? So Chicago, we're real cool with Team Chicago. So shout out to George Fed and Domingo Ayala and fucking Tony, all those Bob Washington, all those Chicago guys. But we were real tight with them. So they drove, so they had a car. So I was like, yo, we could go sit in Chicago's car. They brought their bong. So he's like, cool. So we go in the car, smoke the weed in the fucking bong. This Cali weed, some shit I ain't never experienced. Bro, you talking about high. Bro, I was high for like 7 hours. And I'm off one bong rip. Dude, some Cali weed, Frankie. Shout out to fucking Dingin Frankie 3S, man. That dude was a beast. But like, okay, so we leveled up like a motherfucker. This shit was like steroids for your mind or some shit. Cause we go in there. Well, wait, we can't start the tournament till Butch gets there, right?
Okay.
Butch is like 3 hours late. It's Butch. So we're like, fuck it, dude. We can't hold it in no longer. Anticipation is crazy. We're like, fuck it. I'm going in. I get on the stick. Frankie gets on this other cabinet next to me. And I think I got like 12 wins. I don't give a fuck who it is. Omaha, Texas, Japan, I'm kicking everybody's ass. I don't give a fuck. I'm high as fuck. I cannot be stopped. My Yang was beating the shit out of Japan. So that's part of the reason I went with Yang in the team tournament because I was doing so well with him in casuals on that super weed.
So you went to so Frankie, you went to go hotbox it with Frankie
Yeah,
and the Chicago guys,
right.
and then you went on a run with Yang.
Yes. I got like 12 wins. I look on the cab on the side of me, and Frankie's got like 14. I'm like, God damn, you got more wins than me? Fuck that. So we're like competing,
You ain't
trying to,
even competing against the opponent. You're competing against each other.
yeah. Me and Frankie trying to get the most wins. And then Butch gets on.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. I got to do it to you. I kick his ass. He's like, why you playing all hard? Like, no, it was Daytrick. It was Daytrick. Butch ain't there yet. It was Daytrick. Daytrick's like, why you playing all hard already, man? Why you showing them everything? I'm like, bro, I can't help it, bro. I'm high as fuck. He like, man, you need to chill out. You doing way too much. So I think when I got to like 14, Jason Wilson gets on the megaphone. He's like, all right, everybody off the machines. Everybody. The lo and behold, Butch shows up. He's going through problems with his pops at the time. So that's what was making him late. So I still blame our performance on Butch because if we would have started on time, I think we would have did better against Japan. But since they played us for like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the tournament started, they kind of knew what was up a little bit, you know. But like first time we got on the sticks, nobody knows nobody's style or nothing. And I was beating their ass, bro. So was Frankie, bro. And I don't think they were sandbagging either. They were banging. But like you know, they do well at coaching. Japan coaches each other really good because I noticed like if we were getting the best of them in a round or something, one of their teammates would be behind them talking Japanese and shit. I'm like, Maurice, what are they saying? What are they saying? His Japanese was all right. It wasn't as good as it is now back then. So I didn't know what the fuck they were saying, man. But they were. I noticed Eno was telling them the right shit because like they were. Because I remember like I kept locking up Izu's Yang with like dive kick, low jab to kind of neutralize him, and then I could like either grab him or low forward Manis. That kept working on him. But I noticed Eno wasn't having that. He would just red parry the jab and fuck me up.
So after the Japanese came, like, did that? Because I know back in the day, it was pretty territorial. Coast,
Yeah,
West Coast,
yeah. Everybody kept the
West.
information for themselves and shit.
But like after the Japanese came, like, did any of that, like, did any of y'all start to like, hey, uh,
What?
Japanese, it kind of showed us what's up.
It was weird because it was bittersweet because they beat us 19-6, but okay, I remember now the original score against the original America team, they got 3 wins, right? America got 3. We got 6. So even though we lost overall, it felt like a moral victory because we got 3 more wins than the hand-picked American team from all over the country. You
Yeah.
got to think they picked guys from all over the country. You know, they had a guy from New York, a couple guys from Cali, a guy from Texas, a guy, you know what I mean? And all of us was from the same city, and we got more wins against Japan than they did. So we wasn't really tripping about losing.
Say for example, just hypothetically speaking, next year there is an opportunity to run it back, so to speak.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you did back in the day. Which five, which 5 Japanese third strike players would you invite to come over here to run it back?
I don't even watch Japan anymore, man.
Like, would you send KO? I'd send for sure KO,
Hell
right? For
yeah.
sure KO. Okay, so
Hell
for sure
yeah.
KO's on that team.
Hey, yo.
MOV for sure. MOV
Oh,
or
man.
Nuki for sure, right? KO and Nuki.
Them fucking Chans, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's the best, right? KO and Nuki.
Them dudes is ridiculous.
Um,
Yeah, Mav, Onuki, KO.
uh,
Who else? Hey, Tominaga.
so your team would
That,
be KO.
do we really gotta give them 2 Chun-Lis though?
Up to you.
I would trade I'm keeping Onuki, but I would take Mav out for the chubby young player.
Uh,
He's the best young over there outside of KO.
Yakun.
Yeah.
So your team would be KO, Yakun, Nuki, Kuni, and Tominaga.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That team. This is for the run back. Okay. Team Japan.
Yeah.
This
Those
might be the best team.
Those are some of my favorites though.
Yeah. This actually might be, depending on the rules of the competition, this might be the
Yeah. That's a
okay.
strong team, right?
Yeah, that team is okay.
Yeah.
So now comes the next question from Locke. As the Oracle of American Third Strike, who is on team? Like, who do you think stands a chance against that team?
I tell you
For the
what,
run back.
man.
Who's on that team?
I tell you what, if y'all gonna kill me for this, but if this guy's trained up, he would have to train up. If Dingiz trains up, I want Dingiz.
Number 2.
I gotta have 10 Ren. I want Exodus. Damn, how many is that? 2?
3.
That's 3?
2 more.
Shit. Fuck. I wanted to say Nika, but my thing with Nika is, and I've had this problem with a lot of American players that got a lot of Japanese in their game. I don't like that the fact that they have so much Japanese in their game. I feel like they try to out Japan, and I don't think you can do that. I don't think that's possible. I think you got to have something in your game that Japan just ain't accustomed to. Like they wouldn't do it, and everybody assumes that because Japan does it, it's the shit. That's true. So what makes you think your copy in Japan ass is gonna win? Like, so I feel like you got to have their style just to be aware of what they can do to you, but you have to have something that they probably wouldn't try to do to you in your game. So that's why I'm hesitant about Nika and Ryan because I feel like some of those dudes respect them too much sometimes. Like you can't respect them motherfuckers, man. Like not when you playing against them, you can't respect them like that. I've
So
seen
it's
Ryan not kill him because of shit like that. I've seen Yuki not kill them because of shit like that. Um,
so
Pyrolee, Nika, I don't know, man. So it's like, but at the same time, I can't think of too many other players I would want to put on the squad that can just that are not immediately overwhelmed because they're playing against Japan. You know what I'm saying? Like they are comfortable playing in Japan though. So for that reason, I would want them on the team. But I don't know, man. It's like I got you, Ryan, Nika, 5-star. I don't think Frankie. I wouldn't put him on that squad. Neiman's is my boy. I mean, Frankie is too, but Neiman's is a little different though. I don't even think Japan knows what's up with him. Um, damn, dude, them last two is hard. Yuki, I don't trust his decision making in the clutch. Uh, I would put you on it. I would put you in there. I would put you in there. For the fourth. And damn, dude. America? Damn, we got to play with one character, huh? I want to put me on a team so bad. I don't know. That last spot could be like 4 different guys, man. It could be Nika. I'll be okay with that. I'll be okay with 5-star. Uh, I'll be okay with who I say Ryan. Who we got left? Ryan, Yuki, and 5-star. It's out of them three. Take your pick. Shit. I mean, for real, they've been over there so much, bro. They got the experience, so you got to go with one of them three. Maybe am I tripping putting Dinges on there?
no, I
I'm
don't
not.
think so. I don't think Denges is yeah.
I don't care who you is, dude. Dingen work if you know how to charge it quick. I don't care who you is. Dingen works.
So tell
You
me a
know.
little bit about like online third.
So I noticed I leveled up real quick just playing a high level player like back to back in tournaments, right? And it's getting this be around them the whole weekend, right? So online enables me to have motherfuckers like that in a lobby, like you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like every night, like or whenever we decide to all hook up. I would have never knew Lance existed or played Lance, and like if I didn't touch him online first, like what I hated about tournaments is if you run into a motherfucker you ain't never played and they just blow you up because you ain't never experienced this style or whatever the fuck, this character or whatever. Because in Omaha, I was the only character that played. I was the only player that used every character. So I didn't see like high level Guinea Gen or uh high level Dudley. I mean, Simon's Dudley was pretty good, but it wasn't like Sherwin, you know, it wasn't like Exodus. So I didn't see those levels until I got online. So when people talk bad about online, I shut that shit down right there because there's no way in hell a lot of these players out here will encounter a level like that or characters like that until you get online. Everybody don't got that kind of competition in their backyard.
yeah.
That's the thing I want to bring up, bro. Like You think about how many players came out of New York. You think about how many players that came out of Cali. How many came out of Texas? You know what I mean? Omaha had 5 motherfuckers. That's it. It wasn't nobody before us, ain't nobody after us. Always been us 5. There's been different generations of killers in New York. They started off with Eddie Lee. Then they, then they had like all these little minions around them, like Arturo and Jaren Grayson and all these fucking minis, baby Super Saiyans and shit. And then they got Justin Wong. Now they got Nika KO and Frankie. Like they got different generations of killers. So does Cali. You know what I'm saying? So does Texas. They had Shin Chang. Now they have Mo Preem and shit. It's like these big states just churn out motherfuckers like every 5 years. Omaha don't do that. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of other states and cities that, you know what I mean? It's the same shit. So I think we don't get enough credit for staying as good as we were, or getting better, or being as good as we were with just the same 5 motherfuckers. And then Lance, his story trumps all of our story. Lance was in Alaska with just one motherfucker. Like, how the fuck did he get that good? Online. And that's the thing. Like, people assume that the online shit don't translate to the arcade, and it does. I learned a lot of high strategy shit online that I wasn't using on arcade, right? All I had to do was just adjust my timing from the shit that I learned online to the arcade. I started off playing on arcade first. You know what I'm saying? But I learned more shit than I ever learned playing on CAD online. And it's not like it with this online tactics, because the same people I was playing is arcade junkies. A lot of the dudes that I play online, they don't like they really arcade dudes. It's just that's how the times went. Arcades went away, motherfuckers hopped online. The hardest part about it is translating your shit that you've learned and the shit that you're accustomed to doing. Is You got to translate that shit to the arcade, which is a slower speed. So, but that doesn't, I think people get the misconception that, oh, if you do bad in the arcade, it's because your online shit don't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that that player hasn't adjusted their timing from online to the arcade yet. Once they adjust their timing, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Same shit work online, it doesn't work on arcade. Some shit just works a little better, like deadly sweeps and dart shots. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, the sweep online is faster than it is on the arcade. So motherfuckers abuse that shit. You ain't gonna sweep me that many times with Dudley. I can see that slow ass shit in the arcade. I'll parry that every time. So, stuff like that, I feel like you just gotta know. Like, you getting hit by it, but don't sweat it, because it just moves faster than it should. You know. But like legit strategy, that shit, it works on both.
Yeah, like I don't think I ever disregarded online as a good tool. I think
Uh-huh.
it's an amazing tool. Like for myself, I think online is what helped me improve probably my biggest week. That was my execution. Just because
Yeah.
of like you were talking about the get all these reps.
Yeah.
But I think what we also need to accept that Third Strike online and Third Strike offline are different games.
Definitely.
They're different games. And also and again, this really isn't up to just one person. This is something that is going to be up to the community to decide, but like what is kind of the I guess the set play for a new player? Most likely the first place they're going to be online. And so people are going to get on Fightcade, they're going to play, and depending on how interested they are in investing more time and effort into learning how to get better at the game and to play competitively. And at some point, they're going to have people point out certain players to as examples, and a
Yeah.
lot of times those players are who Japanese,
Yeah.
and those Japanese players are playing on Fightcade. No, they're playing in the arcade
Yeah.
offline. So you're giving them advice, footage from an offline, and so the point I'm trying to make here is that it seems as though the standard is still the offline experience of Third
Definitely.
Strike.
That's always going to be the standard.
So then online will be then online can be a tool to get
Yeah,
better
it's
at
definitely a tool because I would say the main advantage of online is to be able to play players like yourself. That's like in a whole different, like you're on the other side of the country and you're strong. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to play a player like you unless I take vacation time from my job and you know what I'm saying, spend hundreds of dollars flying to wherever the fuck you're gonna be at and play you. And I could play you online and at least just feel the level of Mutant XP. I can feel the level through the internet. Like I can feel it. I can feel the defense. I can see the big ass copper turtle shell. Like I can feel that shit through the internet. I ain't gotta be in person with you to feel how strong you is. You know what I'm saying? And it does level you up. Like playing Neiman's, I swear, bro, just playing Neiman's online on 360, just him. He made my defense. He made my button selection like this was basketball. He made my shot selection so good. You know what I mean? He made me like really think about every fucking button I pushed. Exodus 2, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have got to that next level if I didn't play them dudes. Because once I got this theory, once you unlock another level in Third Strike, it's permanently there. You never go back down. You might not go up, but you're gonna at least stay at that level that new level that you obtained. And you know, it's weird when it happens because you don't always realize it happens when it happened. You don't realize it happened until you go play somebody else that used to give you problems, and now you beating the shit out of them. And it's like that's because you play Mutant XP for 3 1st to 10s. You know what I'm saying? Like for about a month. And it's like shit. You either gonna sink or float when you play people like that. They're gonna show you where your potential is at. If you can actually hang and get better and get up to where they at or surpass them, or if you just gonna keep getting your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. It just I used to hate on online, bro. But if you got a semi legit online like setup where you know the matches ain't all janky, like you really can get a lot out of that.
Speaking of Arcade Perfect, I wanted to talk a little bit about your experience at the Jazzy finale last year.
Oh man.
Jazzy finale 2022. The Jazzy finale that you attended, Grimlock, was last year at Free Play Arcade in Arlington, Texas. You know, you hadn't been to a tournament for a few years. I think just personally, the last time we saw each other was Frosty, I think. One of those
Oh, was it?
Frosties. It might have
Yeah.
been a Frosty.
The last tournament I had been to before that was 2019 at Combo Breaker.
Okay, so yeah,
But
so I
I didn't
definitely
get to
saw
it.
you
I
at
got there
Frosty
late.
2019. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
saw you at Frosty 2019.
Oh yeah, we kicked it at Frosty's. It was cold as
Yeah,
fuck, but we had fun.
yeah, and then we
And fucking Adam Hernandez, Shady, ruined my plans again. That
Dirt
motherfucker.
Master.
He stopped me from getting third place, man. I was guaranteed third if I whoop him. I sent him to
You look,
losers. I sent him to
there
losers.
was footage on the stream. You look pretty salty.
I sent him to losers.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that's the worst. When
That's
you
the
get
worst,
to
right?
all my
When you get knocked out by the guy that you sent to losers. Yeah.
I was so mad that none of them motherfuckers could kill him. I was like, dude, Big Nasty kill this dude. I'd rather
Master
fight
too
Hugo.
smart. Your master
And then
too
and then
smart.
like Jamar lost to him. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I knew it. Like I saw it before it happened. I was like, he's gonna beat me.
Your master smart.
Nah, he is. From day one,
Like I
bro.
feel like I can't like outsmart Dirt Master. I have to just like get him to like mess up or something.
Yup. Motherfucker's weird.
So yeah, so you hadn't been to a tournament for quite some time.
Yeah.
This was your first ever Jazzy finale
I felt
last year.
bad, man. I felt bad because you know people probably had high expectations or whatever, but it wasn't.
Aw.
It wasn't really a tournament for me for performance.
Uh,
You know what I mean? That was a tournament for me for just a showing, a participation. Like I just wanted to show up. You know, I felt like I was almost obligated to be at one of these things by now. I got the money. My cousin stays in Arlington. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I know I ain't been training, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, you had a great showing. We held it down a little bit.
And 5-star made me feel so stupid. Like he made me feel so dumb because he was like, "Why didn't you just play on arcade mode in Fight Cage to get your timing back?" And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't even think about that, bro. Like I only go to arcade mode to set my buttons up real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just too used to because I hadn't really been banging at Eats house.
Huh.
I ain't been over Eats in like over a year, over probably I don't know. It's been a minute, so I ain't played on Cab in a minute, and I didn't think he was gonna fuck with me that much, but man, it was like a whole different game. And I probably could have used my little prowess to just cut and shit, but I was being real cool and generous. So every time I lost, I would just go outside and smoke. You know, like I wasn't getting a lot of reps. I really wasn't prepared to perform how I know I can perform down there. But I wasn't training. I wasn't training.
You have a
I
good
just
time at least.
fuck yeah, dude. Anytime I get to be on a team with fucking 5-star and Mutant XP and Yuki and man,
Yo,
Dicey,
our team was a little OP, a little bit.
bro.
Our
Our
team
team was
was-
too. I think that can bite you in the ass sometime, depending on like
Yeah, it did. It
the
did.
competition
It
of the
did.
tournament.
Well, we didn't win, so
Because all of us were so good. We always OCV
we,
the
we,
whole
we
thing.
were more like the 2004 Lakers than the 2001
Yeah.
Lakers.
Like nobody got to play though. Like if you went first, you would kill the whole team. So
Yeah.
we didn't get to play. If I went first, I'll kill the whole team. Nobody got to play. And that was the case for any of us. I remember one, I don't know if you was around because like we were so good. You was like all of our teammates wasn't even around. So like, because we knew we wasn't gonna have to play. So like, I don't think you was around, but like, 5-star was like, Cam, you go first on that team I OCV'd, and was it Daisuke, the Ryu player? He's arguing with 5-star, like, you sure you're gonna let this guy go first? Because Daisuke don't know shit about me. He's like, you sure you gonna let? He was like, man, that's Cam, bro. He's cool. He got
Yeah.
it. He got it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if Daisuke knew anything about you.
Yeah.
But
So Daisuke is
can he
like
play?
question
Can
marks,
he
like
play?
if it's an anime, it's all kind of question marks and
Uh,
exclamation marks above his head and shit. By the third win I got, he's like,
okay,
oh,
okay.
okay, your Irix is strong. Your Irix is strong. I'm like, dude, I'm on the team, man. Come on, everybody on the team's pretty strong. Hey, and no diss to Daisuke, but I honestly felt like he was our weakest link.
I don't know about that.
That's what I do. Not Shinku. Are you serious? Like his best setup was like air to air jump kick reset Shinku. I'm
Yeah,
like, bro,
there were a lot of execution errors. So
I
here's the thing
parry that
about
online all the time.
yeah. Here's the
That
thing.
ain't gonna work against them niggas. Against Yuki, against Nika and them.
Yeah,
That shit ain't gonna. I know if I can parry that, at least 3 of them could parry that.
yeah. Like psychologically, that's what Denjin has done, right? It's like,
Yeah, man, Dingeon always been the shit to
but
me. Like in Omaha, Geese Howard, Zangief, and Dingeon is lore in Omaha. It's not the best super, but we call it the X factor. Dingeon could beat any character. It's not the best, but it'll beat any character. Like when I pick Ryu, I'm all about crouching spears blade kick, bro. That's what's gonna get the job done. That's gonna get your stun bar up. That's gonna take your life. Like that's what you do. Frankie taught me that back in the day. Dingeon Frankie. So that's always shit that I live by.
got up against a strong team.
He did good though. I mean, I can't lie. I
It was
lost to the
good.
same motherfucker he lost to. That Neobon was I played Neobon on 360 and we went back and forth, but I didn't get too many reps with him.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, Neobon's the truth though. He's crazy.
yeah.
He fucked us up. Like he beat too many of us. That was the problem. Him and they had too many Chun-Lis. Hey, 5-star, I can't believe what he tried to do. Like he could have fireball Super Junior Cock and killed that Chun. And he just tried to pierce him out of a fucking EX spinning bird. Like, you know how frame perfect you got to be to do that?
Like I said, we were more like the 2004 Lakers, 2001.
Yeah, we would. But I'm just saying, to me, we were too good for our own good because I think when you OCV everybody like that, you're not giving your teammates time to warm up or get a, you know what I mean? Like we wasn't getting the feel of nothing. Like it's like nobody got to play when any of us played. I don't know. I still don't know how to look at that. But that shit was awesome though.
Well,
But
hopefully,
I'm going to the next one for sure
oh yeah,
after seeing that one, after seeing the Denver one,
yeah.
dude.
What were your thoughts on this year? I know you again.
I
You
was
didn't, you weren't
I was
there,
beating
but
myself up, bro, after I
yeah.
seen it.
What were some of your what were some of your one of the things that I noticed right off the bat from the last finale was just how godlike everyone was playing. Like,
Right?
wow, like there were
That's
so
what I
many
noticed, by the way.
comebacks.
That was dope, bro. I love to see like a lot of killers in the same spot and they gotta go against each other. Like there's no way to dodge it. Jason Wilson them used to be slick back in the day and like make Omaha fight Omaha and shit like that. Yeah, they were cutthroat. It took us like 3 or 4 tournaments to realize that's what they're doing. So we had Daytrick strong ass. He's all swollen and shit. We had Daytrick go bully him like, hey man, go do your bully shit. Tell them we ain't playing each other. But yeah, like that was this year from the footage I saw. I still got to finish watching like because I only watched top 8. I want to watch like all of it. But like, dude, shit, that shit was loaded. I felt like a lot of matches could have went either way. But I was all in all, I was really happy Exodus won because he used to get a lot of shit. Like I remember like when he threw that one that Clash of the Titans, people were talking shit because he claimed himself being a Titan. And I'm like, dude, Exodus is a Titan, man. And so I'm just glad that his online skills finally translated to the arcade. Because I've seen him play the same way he played in that tournament. I've seen him play that way online a million times. But when he gets in arcade, he would like keep dropping like dart shot corkscrew blow and stuff. But I think that's why he switched to Rocket. It's a better link. Or it could be the window's bigger for you to link it. But I'm just glad he got one. I mean, Yugi's he Yuki's done his thing though. Like he'll have his day, I think.
Yeah.
But Yuki's always right on the cusp, but something bad happens. Like it just you know what I mean? Like Exodus got on the roll and just started fucking him up. And then he was fucking Neobon up, and then Neobon got on the roll and fuck Yuki up. I was like, damn, that's straight. He straight got Makoto'd.
So we were mentioning earlier that Third Strike is gonna turn 25 next year. So
Wow.
kind of looking back on your time with the game,
Yeah.
what's kind of next for you in terms of goals for the game? Are there still things that you accomplish? Third Strike.
Lately I've been thinking about just taking trips to Cali and New York, and I want to sightsee a little bit. Want to set a day or so to sightsee, and I want to set days to play Third Strike. So, because like I really don't like tournaments anymore like I used to, because it's like it's 2 fights, and it's like if you're out, if you lose, you're out, whatever. And it's like, damn, you spend a lot of money and resources to get there. And it's just for the way I think and the way I play and my character usage. I don't know, man. Tournaments just they don't cut it for me no more because I've always been for a long time. I would say I love all the characters. I've never been a main. I haven't been a main character user since like the first 3 years, 4 years. Ever since then, I just play matchups. I just pick people according to who I think will win, and I get a better experience when I just go play. In my opinion, like I don't like to just put it all on the tournament, and if you do bad, then it's just a failure. It's just a downer. So now I just try to get experience and just playing. I just like to play. I've always been like that though. I like to play. I ain't really about all the beefing and the coast versus coast, and so we can't be beefing and shit. It's good to have like rivalry, but it's a thin line between rivalry and like toxic. Nowadays, I'm trying not to create enemies. I just want to play, dude. And one day I do want to go to Japan, get my passport. Uh, what's crazy? I'm not really crazy about going to Japan for Third Strike anymore, like I used to be. I actually want to go to Japan and play CBS too, but because I love that game just as much as Third Strike, honestly, because it's got P groove. Everybody can parry you, and I've always been an SNK lover just as much as Capcom. So, but yeah, that's my goals heading for the future is just like getting to the big tournaments, actually training up for them, trying to train myself for arcade cab because I don't think I've given myself the best situation to win when I go to stuff. I just be like pull some shit out of my ass and go to something. And it seems like the times where I'm really ready to really compete, I don't even go to a tournament like when I'm at my best. And then when I like go to a tournament, I'm just kind of like it's on a whim or something, you know. So I think the next tournament I go to, I'm really gonna train up for it. But I am gonna really try to make some efforts to go to New York and Cali and play guys and just see where I'm at offline because I really don't like the back and forth where people really don't know where I'm at and they think I'm just an online dude or whatever, but I really want to put all that shit to rest and just go and whoop ass on CAD because that's what I started on. So
Well,
yeah,
I'm glad to hear that you're still planning to be a part of our scene and
oh definitely, man.
planning to come to
You gotta let these dudes know, man. I ain't
series.
no outsider, bro. I ain't no. I'm original. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like OG for real. Like I ain't trying to be cocky. It is what it is. Shit, we've been playing this shit since Second Impact. We've been playing this shit since New Generation. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the I'm the only one in my crew that really stays active in Third Strike. You know what I'm saying? Like Jamar he'll just pop up and just pick Chun Li and you know what I mean? Like Jamar don't train for that shit no more. But his Chun Li's, he know Chun Li. And Butch still plays on PS4, but I'm the only one that really solely plays Third Strike. Everybody else plays Dragon Ball, they play Guilty Gear, they play King of Fighters, they play all kind of shit. Third Strike is just like something they play just because like, it's always kind of been a part of Nebraska, but like I really take Third Strike seriously. So, you know what I mean? I'm like the Lance from here and shit. That's how I feel. Or Lance is the me from Alaska.
Well, hopefully we get to see you at a future event. But you're welcome back anytime. Definitely love to have you back on the show again. Definitely, you have a lot of knowledge of the game.
Oh yeah, like if I can't get out there and compete the way I want, at least I just want to pass the knowledge on. And I've already passed it on to a couple guys, and they're good. They're strong players now. Shake from Missouri, Murderface. I ain't taking credit for all his skills, but I show Murderface a lot of shit, and he do good online. Shout out to Murderface.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. But thanks
All
for
right,
tuning in, everyone. Cam, thanks for coming by. Again, welcome back anytime, and we'll catch you
and you
next
need to
time.
give yourself some more credit, bro. You got the
I
best necro in the whole fucking country, including Canada. You got the best necro, man.
I
So
appreciate that.
that's the top of the necros. You got to put Mutant up there.
I got players like you to keep me on my
Hey,
toes.
hey,
You
man.
know, that's one of the things I love about your game. You always keep your opponents on your toes.
Yeah,
Unpredictability is really strong in Third Strike. You
yes, it
know,
is. But
and
people think it's random. People think I'm random, and it's not random. These are like little sets I just created in,
well, yeah, you're
through.
thinking situations,
Yeah,
and whether they're made up or things that you've experienced, and so
yeah,
you think, hey, what if I did this or that or this or that? Like those
yeah,
are like what you ultimately choose to respond to that situation. Yeah, is truly random, but
yeah.
but
Be like,
as
what?
long as you're aware of the
I'll jump
situation,
in your
right?
face at EX knee with Alex, and they'd be
Yeah.
like, that was so random. I'm like, no, I knew you were gonna grab. Been in that situation over 1,000 times. Like,
So
I just
then,
think people need to take more risk. That's why Tommy Naga's so good in my opinion. Like he knows all the safe solid shit, but then he'll mix in a crazy risk in there too, though. Like when he like air to airs you with light kick and dashes behind you. and he just assumes you're going to jump away from the command grab, and he just pierces your ass. Like, that's a crazy risk. It's a gamble. If American player did it, they'll call that random. But when he does it, oh, he's got like, oh, he's got foresight. He's got lion-o vision. Like, he's got sight beyond sight. Like, but if I do it, oh, I'm random. That's not safe. And I just think we need to get out Japan's dick so much, and give yourself some fucking credit. They human just like y'all is. Y'all can come up with some shit. But all right, man.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by again, Cam. Till next time, I'll see y'all in Experience Podcast. Take care, everyone.
Mamba mentality.